Right, so we're going to move on to a group task. Now within this group task you're going to be assigned different roles. Or you're not actually going to be assigned, you're going to decide within your groups which role you're going to undertake. Now I'll explain the group task in a second, but the different roles are a spokesperson, a writer, a question master and an organiser. Now what I'd like you to do, in a second I'm going to put you into your groups and you're going to go and work on it might be a different table to the one that you usually sit on. Now, you're going to discuss different ideas of different characters that this suitcase could belong to. Because like I said, we haven't looked at everything within the suitcase either. So what else could be in there? Okay? Now, when you get down into your groups, the first thing you're going to do is decide which role you will be doing. Okay? So the first one, the spokesperson, will be the person that presents it back to everybody at the end of the lesson. The writer will be the one who writes the ideas down in the form of a mind map, which I'm going to go into in a second. The question master is the one who, when you've discussed with your group, when you've looked at other groups' presentations, the question master is the one who asks the questions to that group. And then the organiser is the general person who basically organises the group and makes sure you're doing things in the correct order and what you should be doing. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You all understand that?
Yeah.
Thumbs up? Right. So, for example, when you go into your groups, I said, what type of format did I ask you to write it down in, Max?
Mind map.
A mind map. So what you might want to do first is you might want to list a few of the in the top corner. You might want to list just a few possible characters what this might belong to. So, for example, I'll use yours to start with. So, number 1, we said old man. Now, I personally think a farmer. Yeah? Now, as well as thinking of different characters, because it's not just that easy, I think it could belong to a farmer, I think it could belong to an old man. I'm wanting you to take it to that next level and give me the reasons why and discuss the reasons why. So, for example, if I decide to choose from my list a farmer, you can put in the middle of your page, farmer. Okay? And then, on your mind map, you can come up with different reasons why you think that. Okay, so for example, I might say, I think it belongs to a farmer because I've seen a farmer wear a flat cap. Okay? So you can list some of the objects, so I might put flat cap. Now you don't need to list lots and lots of all your ideas on here. These are just prompts, so when it comes to your presentation, you know the things that you've discussed and you can present it to the rest of the class. Because the other groups are then going to try and challenge you, and they might turn around and say, "Well, how can it be for a farmer? Because there's no farmers' equipment in there, or we haven't seen any farmers' equipment." Which you might respond to, "Well, how do we know that?" And then back it up with your point. "Well, I know that Farmer Giles on the farm I've seen wears a flat cap exactly the same." Okay. Take another example. For example, if I might say it belongs to a doctor. Okay? So I might, rather than have it in there, I might have doctor. Now, what would you say to me do you think it belongs to a doctor, Alfie?
No.
No, why do you not think it belongs to a doctor?
I think it could be a cheap person that can't afford rich posh clothes.
Okay. So I can understand that, but I might then respond to that by saying, well, I think it belongs to a doctor because he's been called out to an emergency and he's had to run off to an emergency. That's why there's no doctor's equipment there, and he's forgotten his suitcase because he was in such of a rush and he got to get to that emergency straight away. Yeah? So do you understand? Do we understand what's required from you? Yeah? Now I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to do this because I do want time to present it at the end of the lesson. Now I'm going to go over the roles one more time just so we're all clear about which one. Because obviously different people have different skills. So Max, you might think you're a really good organiser, so you could be an organiser. You could organise the group, yeah? For example, Jaden, you might think that you're really competent at speaking in front of people, so you could be the spokesperson for your group. Callum, you might think that you're good at organising your ideas in a written form, and you've got nice, neat handwriting, so you'd be the one to do the writer. Yeah? And, for example, Nathan, you might think you're quite confident in speaking in front of people, and you really like to ask the questions, you really like to pose different questions to people and find out the different answers, so that might be your perfect role in the group. Okay? Are we all clear what we're doing?
Yeah.
Good. Thumbs up. Show me if you are. Good stuff. Right? You were like that then a bit. What are you excuse me, what are you not too clear about?
I don't know what I should be on.
Well, you can decide that within your group. And if you're struggling, I'll come over and give you an hand with that, okay? Don't want you to take any longer than 1 minute to decide, though. Okay? Now, I'm going to just pick you. I'm going to pick you in different groups. So we're not going in our usual groups that we have in maths and sometimes other literacy lessons. It's in different groups this time. So listen, look at me so you know which group you're going to be in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you go on this table, please? Quick as you can. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you go on the far table, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you go on that far table, please? And the other 4, you're on this table. So the first minute or so, discussing what role's the best. I'll leave the roles on the board so you know what they are.
So what are the challenges for teachers in setting up a complicated piece of group work like this?
I think one of the main challenges is to make sure that the children understand what's expected from them from the start, and setting different expectations, but also different roles within a group, rather than just saying to the children, right, go and work in a group. By setting the different roles, it makes it a lot clearer to the children what's expected of the individual within the group and how it's going to affect the group work ethic and the group work performance.
I also noticed that you were quite careful not to let them just get up and rush to the tables. Tell me what your strategy was and why you used it.
Simply just by letting the children go one table at a time. It just, for classroom management purposes, it made the classroom a lot more stress-free. It gave less opportunity for children to talk or for children to misbehave. And it still continues with the climate of the classroom when they were on the carpet with the instructional basis.
So you also let the children choose their roles in the groups. Why did you do that?
Well, the initial starting activity was an inquiry, problem-solving based activity, so this was another problem that the children had to solve. I also think that as the children get older, they start to learn the strengths and weaknesses, and it's a problem that they can discuss together, which is different to the actual task what's in hand, but it sets them off straight away.
So it's important to see how many things you can give the children to do in a problem-solving lesson rather than telling them the answer.
Yeah, because basically then they're not problem-solving. You're setting a problem and telling them the answer, and it contradicts the element of problem-solving.